Hello, Chris Maguire here, and I have another Hey Chris question. Today's one is, hey Chris, what are fan fret guitars? Are they a good idea, and why do I want one so bad? Okay, so there's a lot going on. With fan fret guitars, there's a lot involved in explaining exactly what a fan fret guitar is and why they're starting to become more popular, especially with its extended range guitars like 7-string, 8-string guitars. Now, I'm not going to go through the specifics. If you want to sort of know more, there's heaps of literature. So this is really in total layman's terms. These aren't going to be 100% right, but they'll give you the right idea. Basically, the reason why we use the fan fret guitar all comes down to what we call scale length. Now, scale length we can sort of think of as the length of the neck. You know, there's not 100% the measurement, but generally our brand name guitars that we know and love on 6 strings generally come in a very small range of lengths and more or less set. And that range more or less covers the low E to the high E and all the frequencies along the range of the guitar. And everything's pretty happy, it works out pretty well, it sounds pretty good, and that's why that length of guitar neck, that's why we haven't seen a huge variety in like really long guitar necks or really short guitar necks. They've done the math and this works pretty well for your standard tuned 6-string guitar. Now, where things can get a little bit murky is even on a 6-string, the low E would actually like to be a little bit longer because the lower frequencies do sound better over a higher tension. So if the string was longer, we can build that to a higher tension. It's going to sound a little bit punchier. So that's going to cut through a little bit more. The bottom string is actually pretty good on a standard 6-string guitar. We don't need to worry about that. So as far as 6-string guitar goes, it's almost pointless getting a fan fret guitar in my humble opinion. Yes, overall, if you were to really go through the specifics of it and really do some scientific research on it, yes, you will find that the fan fret 6-string guitar does sound better scientifically, the output, but the results are going to be very marginal, and you would have paid a lot for this guitar for this fan frets. Now, where it does become a little bit more interesting is with the popularity of 7-string and 8-string guitars. So with these guitars, we've got extra lower strings. Now, if the E strings sounded better if the scale length was longer, now on either 1 or 2 lower strings, whether you've got a 7-string guitar or an 8-string guitar, these lower frequencies are going to want an even longer one for it to sound pretty good. So if we went to our longest scale length that we're typically used for a 6-string guitar, if we were putting that same scale length on an 8-string guitar, the low strings are going to be a little bit too floppy and they're not going to cut through very good. Some bright spark thought, and this happened quite a while ago, thought of something to the effect if the frets were on a lean, then the top half could be longer and then the bottom half would be shorter, going from the low string to the high string. So they basically did all the math from it, and it's all mathematically correct when you get a fan fret guitar. So your low frequencies are nice and happy, they've got a longer scale length. Your higher strings are nice and happy because they've got the normal scale length. So that's basically a fan fret guitar because they look like they fan out along the fretboard. Why is this a good idea? Because if you are having an extended range guitar, it is going to sound better, especially on an 8-string. It makes a lot of sense. Probably a normal, just stock standard neck, traditional neck on an 8-string probably isn't going to sound the most optimum. You can still get those 8 strings that still sound pretty good, but if we're going for absolute optimum, fan frets would be the way to go in the pure science of it all. Why do you want one so bad? The cost of production has really come down quite a bit. Even going back 5 years ago, you'd have to almost get a custom-made guitar, and the math behind it is very specific, and not just any backyard guitar builder can just build a fan fret guitar. There's a lot that goes into it. But the production costs are starting to come down quite a bit, and the labour costs have come down quite a bit. And so it is becoming more and more economically viable. However, these guitars are still quite expensive because more work does go into them, and they're not going to be as popular because it's really, if you're after a 6-string or a 7-string guitar, that you really want to invest that money. So you would have to sort of think if you're prepared to spend that much. If you spend a lot of time on an extended range guitar, like a 7-string or an 8-string, and that's your main instrument, by all means invest that extra money because it is going to sound better. If not, if it, like extended range guitar is more of like a novelty, or you don't really use it that often, or if you think this could be just a phase that you're going through, I probably wouldn't spend that extra cash on specifically for a fan fret guitar. Hopefully this has helped you and point you in the right direction. Well, I've been Chris McGuire. Thank you again so much for your questions. Keep them coming in. You can just put them into the comments section below and I'll be sure to get them. Otherwise, I'll check you next time. Cheers.